against the Fool there, so we'll be rocking the Dubu. Pretty straightforward Otten City picks for the most part. Timeless start. We see the Juno, we see the Rasmus, kind of staples of this map. We got BAM on the Asher here, the Asher Brawler, and Dr. Bebop rocking the classic Atlas, so a little bit more corner presence for Ballin Ballers, but of course they have the Estelle to keep things even in the midfield. We'll just have to see. I'm not too familiar with Ballin Ballers game this season, so I think it's going to be a relatively close match though, but it is Ballers off to a good start with that first barrier. BAM pushing the corner hard with the path splitter. Thing you seem like only a matter of time. They still keeping the pressure up. Finally, Chaotic able to make a bit of a breakaway to the top corner and even up the barriers. But now BAM versus the Log gets it past the redirect round. BAM gets it through, but the Fool right there to save it. Pressure in the corner from Lufoxio, and BAM able to find the center of the net. It will be Ballin Ballers up first.
Very nice consistency from Ballin Ballers. Very nice on BAM to be able to be in the right position at the right time, and that seems to be like a lot of the cornerstones of like their game plans, with how they've been already moving, trying to like feed it up to the corners and trying to get some of these quick Atten City goals.
And now both sides opened up very early once again, as is tradition here. Now BAM with the core flip in the corner. The Fool gonna trade flips, and Dr. Bebop able to catch that one. Lufoxio hunting down a KO there. A little bit too close to the edge of the map. BAM to Lufoxio finds the bottom of the net with the Thorns. A nice passing play from Ballin Ballers. They bring it to set point.
Yeah, they are already very much in sync, and that was just like very good coordination between Lufoxio and BAM. So now the question is, how can Polar manage to like shake back from this? But with that other kill, like Lufoxio and BAM just providing an incredible duo in the front, just managing to get around all of the attempts at defense and shoot it through. Just very nice on Lufoxio's part, and a well-deserved MVP.
And on his first draft here coming up, gotta see a Spark showing up. We see that among Titans as well, but it will be Missile Prop and Happy Star going over first. Spark picked up here instead of among Titans for A. Looking to potentially stack that Sparks later, but that will leave Twin Drive available for Dr. Bebop. Could be pretty valuable, and Stinger is actually going to pick up at the end there for Lufoxio. Or sorry, not Lufoxio, for Chaotic. Put a little bit more damage on that Rasmus. Interesting, and no one went for the Titans. No one went for the speed on this map. But not an insane draft there, but I think Ballin Ballers coming out a little bit happier, but they will get scored on first.
Yeah, definitely the draft was interesting. It definitely seems like both teams are going for very strong aggression, which, again, not too surprising considering this is Atten City. There's going to be these fast goals, so it's a lot of who can kind of like drill through the opposition first. And if Polar Vortex managed to figure something out, especially I'm looking at that Juno with that Spark. If Juno can get a Spark build going, that can be absolutely horrendous. But Chaotic's Stinger, I feel, is also kind of like in under really, I actually like Polar Vortex's draft a little bit more.
And energy now coming up for the Ballin Ballers. Corflip's got to get used there by the Fool to clear it out. Chaotic with the Whiplash to dribble. The Expanse shuts it down, now rotating it to the top side. Chaotic with the dribble, looking for the bottom of the net. Flip from Dr. Bebop sends it back to the midfield, where a pass to Chaotic now in the corner. The Blobbo with a shot on net. Now Chaotic with a pendulum swing, can't find the hit stun. Corflip from Lufoxio, pass to BAM. Cazzes it just a bit and gets back to Chaotic now, looking for the center off the dribble. Will be able to find it. And now Polar Coretex bringing it back in this set, up 2-0.
Very nice, very quick responses for Polar Vortex. Chaotic, very good positioning. With the very nice jumps and allowing like the little blobs to just be able to intercept the court. So if they can keep playing like this, That would be fantastic. Fantastic save by the Fool and almost a little bit by BAM, just like not quite in the right positioning. So that wouldn't last, but fantastic try anyway.
Nice shot from BAM there. Making good use of that flip when they really needed it. And, you know, it's been a bit of a pendulum swing so far this match, but Ballin Ballers getting some control back in this set, and we're seeing them attack these corners pretty aggressively here. The Fool having some trouble on the Dubu, able to cover, you know, both sides really easily, whereas Lufoxio making good rotational plays to pressure the bottom corner with BAM. When that doesn't work, just quickly get it up to the top corner, and just like that, we see the barrier fall.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like the Fool wants to kind of like, if they're comfortable, they want to play up. They want to start tossing those logs out and like those tofu fortresses a little bit closer to the center line. But they're having like a bit of an issue because, like you said, Lufoxio and BAM just very good at rotation and being able to get it in situations that cause the Fool some stress, like pop that flip right there. So it's something that they're going to have to watch out for and maybe try and like figure out, is there a way that they can adjust their game plan or try to just, again, rely on more of like their scoring potential than any kind of like sustained defense.
Stagger bars getting low here as BAM looking for the KO and then Chaotic. Not quite the distance on that hit. And now attacking the corner. Polar Coretex looking for something's going to get cleared out though by Dr. Bebop. An opportunity for BAM, but the Fool able to clear it back. A great save against the red core now. Lufoxio up in the midfield. A with a slime pass and Chaotic looking for the death touch dribble, but this core flip passes up to BAM with core flip in return. Sends it right to the bottom of the net. Ballin Ballers tie it up on set points. Are looking pretty decent doing that. I mean, they came back in this set pretty convincingly now.
Oh yeah, definitely. They had a game plan and they've been executing it very well. Polar Vortex hadn't quite been able to find an answer for it, although I feel like they've gotten close a couple times, but again, they've managed to kind of squeak it out. Very good, especially with that last point. Just core moving too fast. Overtime is an absolute killer on maps like these. So not too surprised that's what it's been like. That's what it's come down to.
Ooh, and the Expanse not quite able to make contact with the core. It looks like it hit Name Chaotic before it fully expanded there. Of course, able to find its way to the goal. Name Chaotic will be first pick here in this draft as Polar Coretex put a setup on the board. We see Fight or Flight, we see Spark of Rezil showing up here as well. Also stacks on stacks, and notably Good Awakening on this map. There's some size here, so Name Chaotic getting first pick. Maybe actually not the greatest in this situation. Will end up going for the Fight or Flight. You kind of have to take it here. Will allow for the Spark Deny here from Dr. Bebop, but that means stacks on stacks goes to A, which is still really valuable. 1-2 punch picked up by the Fool as a deny away from the Asher, who will get the recovery drone instead. An explosive entrance, that dash distance on Lufoxio. Pretty dangerous. A lot of denies had to come out that draft, but each team got at least two things that I think they really wanted.
No, I agree. This was a lot of defensive drafting in that one. So, but what they ended up getting as substitutes, still not bad at all. So definitely something to kind of like watch out for. I'm still thinking Polar Vortex actually got the better of it personally, but that's not to discount, especially things like that explosive entrance.
Nice save here from Lufoxio in good position behind the goalie as Name Chaotic and A attacking the net. The core slipping past though. Can the Fool get back in time? BAM able to get there just barely first to strike it in and stop the somersaults off of that clear. Ballin Ballers will strike first yet again.
Yeah, just very, very nice hustle on that play, and unfortunately, the Fool just wasn't in the right position for a proper like defensive effort for the core. They do seem to be wanting to like make that up very quickly. Got the barriers down, already threatening at the goal line. So we need to see if they can keep that offense up.
Now Dr. Bebop, a nice clear up to BAM, drops the pass splitter, pressuring this corner hard. A core flip here from the Fool, gets caught by the Thorns, but in Chaotic with the flip defensively. Rotates it back out to the midfield now. There'll be a recovery drone on BAM. Getting KO'd there. Now a core flip coming out from this Asher. Dodges the pendulum swing, but A with the save. Now bringing it down to the bottom side here for Polar Coretex. A pass up to Main Chaotic in the top corner. The expanse from Dr. Bebop shuts that down. Now the Fool back to midfield. It's got a somersault to try and catch up to it. And these are the rotation plays that we're mentioning. Has to drop the Tofu Fortress to shut that down. A Death Touch from Named Chaotic sends it just a little too far back. And now the Fool looking for a clear angle. Ends up flying into the bottom corner here. The Slimes from A. Bring it up. Can't find the core flip, but pass from Named Chaotic. Shot to the top. Blocked by the core flip from Dr. Bebop. They'll have another chance, though. Passing plays from Polar Coretex with the whiplash. Looking for the dribble to the bottom of the net. Lufoxio makes 2 saves there. Looking for a third one. And Piercing shots it out of there. Rotates to the top corner here. For Ballin Ballers. A Fool. A somersault save. Gets it back to Named Chaotic, but the Expanse sends it right back to him. Now Named Chaotic dribbling up the field with the whiplash, finally able to make the play and find the nets. 1-1 here in set 3.
That was honestly just an incredible set of passing plays from Polar Vortex. Like, it felt like Ballin Ballers had a rough time trying to catch the core, but they did. But they definitely had to sweat for it, and in the end, the passing plays did end up overwhelming them. So that might be how they managed to kind of like take this game, Polar Vortex. They have like a lot of capability when it comes to like passing, intercepting passes as well, and just getting that core speed up to crazy levels.
Fool up here in the midfield, feeding the core to the forward with the barrier still remaining. Gives him a little bit more leeway to play aggressively here, and does have a flip to work with. A nice Death Touch from Named Chaotic to bring it around the midfielder, keeping possession and finding the net there. As it's Polar Coretex who bring it to set points. They still have a flip on the Fool. They're going to have one on A, but Ballin Ballers, they'll have 3 up at some point in this set as well.
Yeah, I figure those flips will be coming sooner than later, and there's 1 up and gone already. Because the way that they've been playing Polar Vortex, again, a lot of very capable passing plays, a lot of trying to get the core around, so they're going to want to kind of like intercept that as soon as possible.
Yeah, the flip here from the Fool sends it across the field and picks up the barrier. Now core flip here from Bam, looking to get it past, but the defense from Polar Coretex holds with Foxdio, blinked up to the top corner. The pass burst comes through, but the core able to slip back out. Now core flip here from the Foxdio, picks up a KO on it as well as the power play, but Named Chaotic looking for the breakaway. The core, though, slipping out. A backwards Tofu Fortress from the Fool makes the save. And now, trying to defend this bottom corner, a nice clear to Named Chaotic. Bam, looking to pressure the barrier, will bring it down, but A is back online. And then Chaotic's got a flip available, pushing up the field, the Expanse in the way, but looking for the top of the net. There's the flip, and there's the shot to the corner. It's perfect as Polar Coretex take set 3, and now they're up 2-1.
Just a very impressive tightening of their plays, honestly. The passing was pretty much immaculate. They knew exactly when to use their flips, and now very much rewarded with these sparks, and slight non-spark build, but hey, spark of focus, increased cooldown, and speed is going to make that Juno be everywhere. So excellent on them. Rasmus gets his big fish, always wants size. Honestly, I'm looking at this, and yeah, while I definitely wouldn't say that Ballin Ballers got bad drafts, I'm still saying like Polar Vortex has been doing very good in these drafts for pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, you got size on Named Chaotic and a second spark here on A. Yeah, there's not too much on the side of Ballin Ballers that is particularly scary, I don't think, but they do manage to pick up the first point. Orb Replicator, not as strong as it once was for sure, but on Otten City it can definitely be a little bit more useful just for getting more energy, keeping the forwards alive, though there hasn't been too much problem with that. Real quick barrier here from Polar Coretex, though, to start off the second points. And then Chaotic with the whiplash, keeping the possession up as well as they continue to attack this top corner. The Slimes forcing Lufoxio onto the defense. Named Chaotic not quite close enough for a whiplash. The Death Touch doesn't quite bring it back. The Expanse blocks that one as it becomes Ballin Baller's turn to take over. The top corner, Bam brings down the barrier. 3 flips available. Bam pushing up at the flip at the goal line, and that'll just go right in. Now it's set point for Ballin Ballers.
They have been very aggressive for this set. They really did not care about how whatever way the draft went. And sometimes, yeah, like it's just players decide to like tighten it up and knuckle down. So very good on Ballin Ballers to kind of like bring this back, bring this to like a 0.3. Need to see if Polar Vortex can kind of, you know, shake that off and see if they can like keep that momentum that they had from the last set, because BAM in particular has been playing like very, very strongly.
And now the barrier down on Ballin Ballers' side of the field. Death touch here from named Chaotic. Look for this bottom corner. The whiplash is blocked by Dr. Bebop. A nice save to get it back to BAM, who's now pushing this top side. Core flip from A, blocked by the blink from Lufoxio. The piercing shot opens up the goal. And now it's both sides opened up here. The Fool with the core. A pass up to named Chaotic. Fighting against the Expanse to maintain possession. Almost picks up a KO on BAM off the wall. Now has the whiplash available. Drop the death touch. Lufoxio clears it out of there. And now face right back in this bottom corner. BAM not looking too healthy. The pendulum swing and named Chaotic brings him down. The power play for Polar Coretex. A shot to the top. Dr. Bebop with the save. The Fool sends it back in. A another shot to the top. Passive to named Chaotic. Back down to A. Up to the top. The pendulum swing cannot connect. And now the slime's coming out, but BAM has respawned and brings the core right back up field. A blink into the core flip from Lufoxio. What a play to intercept the pass. And Ballin Ballers will take set 4, and we'll be moving on to a set 5.
That was an incredible adaptation. Lufoxio has, in particular, Lufoxio was intercepting a lot of passes that set, like was intercepting the attempted like death touch pulls, was intercepting a lot of the slimes, was just intercepting like everything, whether it be a rose warp or like the piercing shots. Just very good like acknowledgement of like their placement and when to take these opportunities, and that rapid fire is definitely going to help them continue to do that and shut down this passing game.
And rapid fire and primetime Manu showing up here as well for Dr. Bebop. That's Manu Timeless Twin Drive Atlas. That is, yeah, those expanses have been giving Polar Coretex quite the trouble. Though named Chaotic picking up that extra size and damage can also be nice here as well. And as for the final draft, it's certainly a pretty solid one. Another backwards soup fortress there from the Fool to make the save in the corner. Been pretty successful with that maneuver this game, and they will manage to stall out the power play there. A with the slime to the bottom corner, but Ballin Ballers will hold firm. Now named Chaotic though with a bit of a breakaway. Astral Projection block that. Core flip here from BAM in the top corner. The Fool rolling up to stop that. Now in the midfield, named Chaotic with the breakaway to the bottom corner, looking for the center of the net. Dr. Bebop with the flip makes a save. Now Lufoxio with the flip to the top corner. The piercing shot brings it down, but named Chaotic KOs him for his efforts. And now in the top corner, named Chaotic look for the strike war, but Dr. Bebop able to win it. Pass up to A. Goes to the bottom side, but the Expanse in the way, still blocking the slimes. And now A with a possible shot to pass on to named Chaotic, and it's perfectly wide open down there. And it will be Polar Coretex taking point 1.
Yeah, very nice on Polar Coretex's part. Managed to draw Dr. Bebop out of position. No more cooldown. Spent everything and clear shot to the bottom. So right now they need to figure out how to shut down the shutdown of like their passing plays, because like you said, the Expanse has been giving them fits. The piercing shot from Lufoxio has been giving them fits. So they need to figure out what's going to be their solution to that. They need to kind of like outfox the fox, and with that kind of like aggressive play, that may be a key to it.
Speaking of outfoxing the fox, I mean, you see that that core flip stall out pass,
Exactly.
little trick play there on the goal line. And now that, I mean, they're on match point here for game 1. Polar Coretex will be a snipe here from Lufoxio as BAM looking to get into scoring position with that barrier gone. Core, though, forcing it back into this bottom corner on Ballin Ballers' side. Lufoxio faced with a decision, not able to get it very far. The slime comes in from A, and that's the barrier down. Core flip, but it will get sniped away. Fool passing it back in. Core flip shot from Lufoxio all the way from midfield, barely banking it in off of that top wall. And it will be Ballin Ballers putting themselves on the board here, staying in set 5. They've got the energy economy. See if they can bring it to a 0.5 as well.
Yeah, they've been pushing very hard, and they've been able to tie these up before. We need to see if they can go all the way. And with that kill, that is a very nice start. Even managed to deflect like the attempt on barrier. So very good on Ballin Ballers, trying to keep the aggression up, not falter, and try and figure out what they are going to do to kind of like bring this to set 5.5.
Yeah, it'll be Polar Coretex bringing down the barrier and Name Chaotic splitting the uprights, threading the needle there between the Foxio and Dr. Bebop to steal the point away. A well-played final point there. They stalled out the power play, didn't even lose the barrier, and came up with the win here in Game 1. We head over to the stat screen briefly. 20-minute match. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything too crazy to look at here. Everyone kind of pulled their weight, I think, in that match on both sides for the most part. But, I mean, you can see from the shots, it ended up kind of being Polar Coretex who... It really started in that second set. They were able to keep the core on Ballin Ballers' side of the field a lot more consistently than previously. You know, Ballin Ballers started off kind of hot, but Polar Coretex quickly were able to flip it around and just kept attacking those corners. Name Chaotic did an excellent job just maintaining possession of the core, and ultimately I think that's kind of why they came out on top there.
At Polar Coretex's team and went, that was a nice team. Let's try that. So that's going to be both confusing and it might be very, very impressive.
Yeah, and it will be A actually is going to be the one rocking a Spark Hero, Spark of Agility. Everyone else on that side going for 1-2 punch. Meanwhile, 2 Sparks over on the other side, just the Fox Dio on the 1-2 punch. Pauldrons for the goalies. Pummelers here for Name Chaotic, naturally. And think about the Luna Rune combo. Timing is absolutely key on this. You got to have good synergy and work together to time those banishes into Crater Makers. Otherwise, you just end up kind of wasting 2 ultimates, and the enemy team is totally fine for it. But the Fool up in the midfield will pick up the first KO there off of that barrier beam. The power play starts off, and Name Chaotic with the Strike War will bring the first point home for Polar Coretex.
Yeah, like, Luna Rune can be very feast or famine, I agree with that. But you saw how that opening gambit went. Name Chaotic just immediately two-pieced up. Like, I believe that was Bam that got just, like, immediately two-pieced. And that's kind of, like, the power of that combination in general, is that, yeah, it's risky to get off, but if you get it off, that's just absolute pain and heartache for whoever has the misfortune to be on the receiving end of it. So we need to see if they have that kind of teamwork locked in. Or they certainly have the early damage, you can tell that.
Or flip here from Name Chaotic and wide open at the top side. Bam, too injured to even, be down in that area or across the net. Fear of just getting KO'd, and it leaves a big spot open to find the shot, and Polar Coretex taking pretty early command of this match. And there it is, there's the combo, the banish into Crater Maker, and his Name Chaotic who ends up picking up the KO off of that. The first one coming out pretty strongly there as Polar Coretex getting yet another power play. They will lose 1 barrier here on the return. Lufoxio back alive, threading it around the rune pillar and picking up that barrier. It's a really nice shot to keep Ballin Ballers in this for just a little while longer, but Name Chaotic boosting in, wins the Strike War here. Now it's an open net on Ballin Ballers' side. Bringing the core in, the Crater Maker comes in, nice core flip from Dr. Bebop, gets to Bam, dribbles with the Whiplash, but forced against the Path Splitter. Will be able to dodge the banish, and the core just barely slipping around, but with the pillar makes the save. Foxio trying to pass it in, drops the Blobos. I'm trying to get it past A here with the Death Touch, able to steal it away and find the bottom of the net. A nice play here from Ballin Ballers, as they will take a point, put themselves on the board.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be Ballin Ballers' kind of like win condition already. Just again, it actually like we said earlier, is going to come down to like a lot of core control. Polar is definitely trying to out damage and just cause a lot of pain and kind of win off the power plays. That's what that comp and their strategy seems like to me. But if they don't get those KOs, then it's a problem. But hey, they have been getting like a couple of those KOs, so Good for them. They get one barrier, going for two. There's the two. Two flips going out, a little bit overzealous, but Ballin Ballers do survive the power play and get one of their own. So yeah, a lot of back and forth with this one already, even though it looks scary coming out from Polar Coretex.
Yeah, that was a crazy aggressive play there with the Fool getting up in there and spending 2 flips. They will lose both barriers here, and they're going to get punished big for it as BAM just patiently waiting to receive the rock. And in fact, Ballin Ballers able to tie it up. Polar Coretex may be getting a little bit overzealous on that one. If you're going to commit to a play like that, you have to finish it out and get the point. And unfortunately, a little bit of miscommunication on those flips, and they just couldn't quite do it. And now it's anyone's set here. Ballin Ballers start off with pretty decent kickoff. Lufoxio bring it down to the bottom corner. BAM brings up the barrier. And A is pretty hurt here as well. Has to spend some energy to dodge and has no resources left now. And Chaotic just having to be on the defense here. And Lufoxio picking up the KO now to the power play for Ballin Ballers. And Chaotic a boost up to the corner. Looking to just buy some time here. Wait out this power play. Is able to pick up a barrier. Well, that's nice. And A comes back online. A pillar to stop the death touch. And now they're just right back to pushing, but a banish coming out. There's a Crater Maker. Will land a hit, but not quite enough. Dumping some damage onto BAM, though. They've got a core flip available, but with no health, they got to be careful where they stand. The Fool is hunting for this KO, and so is A now into the corner. Has to spend the flip to stay alive. As the core slowly working up. Will able to win the strike war and gets the barrier before they die. Just in time, but it's another power play for Polar Coretex. Lufoxio off the center to the slime. What a play to sink it in. The 1-2 punch coming in massive to send that core screaming to the top of the goal, and Ballin Ballers somehow managed to come up with that first set.
That was incredible. Nearly snatched defeat from the jaw. Nearly snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, and like very scary opening draft. They had like Juno has to deny that Deadeye. Bam, and there it is. Juno very good for the Juno wants that Deadeye almost just as much as Luna does, maybe slightly less, but still great for him. Some starting awakenings looking not half bad for either team, really.
That double spark there for A is actually kind of big. And they also got Stagger Swagger. The Polar Coretex came out. Like, they didn't pick the damage awakenings, right? They picked all the good survivability ones, which is kind of just as good, because Ballin Ballers were able to dish out quite a bit of damage themselves when they needed to. And now they're just not able to do that. And of course, they denied it away from the Ballers. And as I think we're going to see here, there's going to be a lot less power plays on the side of Ballin Ballers the more we go into this match. And of course, A has access to some pretty scary scaling on this rune. And already both barriers down from Ballin Ballers. BAM with a dribble off the pillar, attacking this bottom barrier here. We'll be able to pick it up. It's Polar Coretex forced here to defend. Lufoxio sending it back in. BAM looking to set up. Doesn't even really need to. The slime is just enough to open up the goal. Banish comes out in the Tofu Fortress. There is the Crater Maker, but it makes its way back to BAM. Now the Fool forced to try and clear it out of here. The slime looking for the pass. Name Chaotic makes it clear. Now Lufoxio with the Strike War drops the Blobos. The Fool, the Barrier Beam, sends it back out. The pillar from A gets him to be a self-pass. Lufoxio getting right back into position perfectly. A pass to Name Chaotic. More shots on net. Not able to find much, though, as he gets cleared back out. The Fool rotating it back around. Has to spend the flip to avoid the primary. Dr. Bebop sends it right back around to BAM, though, but the Fool waiting there to rotate it around the world to banish into Crater Maker, and now BAM's not looking too healthy here. Trying to stay alive, but Name Chaotic boosting back. Gotta be careful of Lufoxio and these Blobos, though. Not get too much tunnel vision. Core flip here from Dr. Bebop at A. A pass up to Name Chaotic with a flip to the top of the net. And that's the point for Polar Coretex.
Very nice hold, honestly, by Polar Coretex. Very good, just very good defense by the Fool in general. Managed to hold that goal, and very nice on Name Chaotic and A to just be able to not only coordinate but keep the offense up and be able to figure out how to fake out the opposing team. But that kill, very scary, and they're going to have to try and find a way to hold.
Nice flip KO there, but well, they're able to get one barrier here off the power play. So even it up. The Crater Maker, though, coming in, and that will send BAM off the map as a power play now. Shifts in favor of Polar Coretex. Looking to push from the top side down, it looks like, as Name Chaotic setting up in this top corner. The Pillar is doing a good job keeping it in, but they just can't force anything through. Dr. Bebop and Lufoxtio stacked up like that, and BAM right back alive and working their way up the field. Looking for the second barrier. The Pendulum Swing brings down Name Chaotic. And the power play just keeps shifting back and forth here. The banish comes through, but Lufoxtio with the core opens up the goal. And I have a few more seconds here to try and make something happen. And Chaotic boosting back in. The Blobbo, though, a nice pass up to BAM. And that was 1-2 punch. Blobbos have been huge this match for just getting the core up the field. Ballin Ballers tying it up.
Yeah, it's just been kind of like crazy how many of these points have been going to overtime and how much like the core speed has been needed to make like something wild happen. Just being able to send it absolutely flying with that 1-2 punch, like you said, has been absolutely vital for Ballin Ballers offense.
Oh, the nice dash save here, but BAM still looking for more. Picks up one barrier, takes some damage for it, but now Lufoxtio joining in on the fun, brings down a second one. There's another open goal on the side of Polar Coretex. Lufoxtio down to BAM, looking for the bottom of the net. Doesn't quite have the angle, but might have another opportunity. Coreflip's got to come out here from A to make the clear, but it just gets right back to the forwards of Ballin Ballers. The Tofu Fortress coming out here in the midfield. Foxio with the core, looking for a pass into the top corner here. Bounce off the center, keeps it in BAM's possession for just a moment. Has the Whiplash available. Trying to get it past A, Name Chaotic, but with a dribble off the center, it goes right to the Blobbo. And Lufoxtio will get the point here. Bit of a misplay there from Polar Coretex, and Ballin Ballers bring it to set points.
Lufoxtio has been doing absolutely insane on these matches, and definitely, I would say, definitely seems to be kind of like the problem that they have not quite been able to solve yet. So they need to figure out something to like get Lufoxtio like out of the play, or at the very least cause some kind of stress with because like these Blobos have been making some insane plays, just the placement and the positioning.
BAM now taking up quite a lot of damage, forced to fall back a bit, but Name Chaotic looking to stick to him here as barriers will get traded 1-1. A with the core, dribbling up, goes for the banish, gets on Dr. Bebop, but a well-timed Tofu Fortress means that's no big worry. Core flip here from Name Chaotic. A somersault shuts it down, but the flip is blocked on the line, and that's an open goal on Ballin Ballers. A with a shot, Name Chaotic with another, but the Blobos from Lufoxtio able to hold it down. The death touch angle off the center from BAM gets the second barrier. What a shot, and has a flip available here. It will get cleared out. Name Chaotic not able to follow up on the boost. Core flip here from BAM to the top. Core flip from Fool down to Name Chaotic, looking for the dribble, trying to get it past the log to the bottom side. Off the bumper to the center shot. Name Chaotic ties it up. 2-2 here. The forwards coming out in style this match.
Yeah, just very good patience on Name Chaotic. Caught the dribble, was like, okay, you're going to try something here. Basically kind of had to gamble a little bit to get that dribble off and kind of like figure out when it was going to happen, because that overtime came in very, very clutch. Just managed to like red core it right before the Tofu Fortress could actually manifest. Might have been a little bit too close if it had managed to come out. Maybe it wasn't. We weren't sure. We'll never know. And Polar Coretex wants it that way.
Open side for Ballin Ballers here, but BAM, though, opening up a goal in return now with the core. Has a Blobbo for some help, and for the Fool Strike still on cooldown, it looks like.
Yep.
In that little ping-pong sequence, and BAM able to come up with the points. Ballin Ballers, these have been very close sets, all 5-point sets, but Ballin Ballers have taken both of them. It looks like they'll be rewarded. There's no sparks on the board here for A, but there is Fight or Flight, there is Stacks. You see Reverb, as well as Adrush showing up here, so a lot of relevant awakenings to look at.
Yeah, it's going to be like scary. I'm actually looking at like missile propulsion. I wouldn't be surprised if not Juno, excuse me. I would say Luna or Dubu went for that, but no, Luna went for Adrush. Yeah, it is the Dubu who goes for like missile propulsion. So that's going to be a lot longer range logs. That's going to be a lot of more like offense coming out of like the backside of Ballin Ballers, if you'll pardon that phrasing. But even then, still just very, very scary, very worrisome. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to like finish it off here.
I think it's pretty good awakenings from both sides here. I like the reverb here from Lufoxio, and I do like the ad rush from Named Chaotic. If they're able to get more KOs, it can be game changing. But this whole, you know, I was gonna say it's a gamble, but really this whole strategy is kind of a gamble when you, you know, look to do something as eccentric as Luna Rune like this. But it'll be Named Chaotic down for just a moment here as Ballin Ballers on the power play. Come back alive. Not too much pressure coming out off of that one. Foxio trying to force it through. A nice boost from Named Chaotic. Gets it past, forces Dr. Bebop to make a save. Gets it back to Bam. A nice back pass to the Foxio. Sets up the Blobbo. The Fool holding strong though, but the Tofu Fortress coming out offensively, and that's the barrier gone. Dr. Bebop up to Lufoxio, trying to get it past the Crater Maker. Not quite in time. Named Chaotic with the dribble. Core flip from Lufoxio. Get it up to Bam. Looking for the shot to the net, but the Fool make the save. A somersault from Dr. Bebop. Saves it on the return, and now another Blobbo brings us to the corner. Bam looking for the strike war, but the Fool holding strong so far. Lufoxio drops the ult. Core flip's got to come out from the Fool, but can't get it out of this corner. Lufoxio to Bam, but A wins the strike war. Now Dr. Bebop trying to send it back in. A nice dodge against the Banish, and the forwards of Ballin Ballers looking to push back up. There's the Tofu Fortress to stop Named Chaotic, but still maintaining possession, though. It gets right back to Bam on the return with the red core. Keeps the speed up with the redirect, and that's the point for Ballin Ballers.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to say about this one, just because, yeah, these points have all been very close, like you said, and it feels like Polar Coretex is like never completely out of it. But if you look at the score, it just feels like, yeah, like Ballin Ballers basically has managed to hold control of these points all when it comes down to it. Maybe it's just they're better in the clutch. I'm not sure, but they have been having this very well, and that was pretty much like an own barrier off a bad bounce off the center, which has kind of been an issue for Polar Coretex for this whole match.
Yeah, they've gotten a couple not so great bounces off of that center there. And Chaotic able to bring down one barrier and trying to keep the offense up, but Dr. Bebop with a clear to Bam forces the Fool to leave the crease and try and cut that pass. Core flip here from Bam, looking for the top of the net, just sends it right through the Fool. No barrier beam to stop that one. Yeah, now Ballin Ballers up 2-0 here in set 3, looking to take game 2. And yeah, I mean, they just picked the more consistent comp, and consistency has just kind of won them this game. The big plays that we wanted from Polar Coretex just weren't really enough to do what they wanted to accomplish here, and looks like they might just have to go to game 3.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they tried to, I don't want to call it like a gimmick team, but it was kind of but Luna Rune is kind of like a gimmick duo. Like, yeah, they can cause like some major damage, but you have to be really on point for it, like we said earlier, and you have to be able to take advantage of like those points and those attacks. Great, like, good point out of them for that one. You know, just some signs of life, but it's a long road.
Yeah, they have to make a full reverse sweep here. They've got some flips available. They couldn't take it 1 point at a time. But, you know, as we've seen, the consistency from Ballin Ballers this match has kind of just been pretty dominant. So they do get one barrier here. Named Chaotic looking to pick up a barrier of their own. There's a pillar set up, but Dr. Bebop just playing it real patiently. The strikes and the logs, able to keep both the barriers alive here. Is now Polar Coretex looking for another attempt at offense. A with the pass in, but all three members of Ballin Ballers will hold this corner pretty well, and Bam able to pick up the KO with some assist from Dr. Bebop there. Now Foxio with the core, looking to capitalize on this power play. A nice back pass here. The Fool pushing up, does burn the flip a little bit early there. And A also going to burn the flip. Doesn't quite get the barrier, but allows Named Chaotic to come back online. As it looks like they're playing this one a lot slower than they were those previous points now. Dr. Bebop with the core flip burn here as well. And another KO on the Named Chaotic off of the Blobbo on the wall. And Bam picking up that second barrier. Lufoxio up to the top, and Bam with the redirect around the Fool off of that corner. And it's all coming up Ballin Ballers here in game 2. We will be going to a game 3.
Yeah, that was just Ballin Ballers being able to, like we kept saying, consistency, 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 and that's so important for a reason. The fact that you know that as long as you execute your general game plan, you are good, you have a reasonable chance at just like scoring, defending, whatever. That is just such a relief, and something that you can just kind of like be able to hang your hat on. It's just something you can, something that you can trust, and they were able to do that, and Polar Coretex wasn't.
Goalie, it looks like, yeah, from the Fool and named Chaotic is on the X. Everyone with Stinger, by the way, not a siege machine to be seen. Magsouls for the forwards, or for the midfielders, siphoning one on Bam, named Chaotic just rocking the slicks. Of course, Pauldron's on the Rasmus and Vice with the eject button, but yeah, this is gonna be a brawl. We're already seeing the damage come out a little bit, and I mean, this is for the series. It's for the week 1 series.
Yeah, so of course they're gonna, they're gonna let it all hang out, and definitely just with how the life bars are looking already, it's probably not going to get any nicer. They're already just throwing things at each other, even after these first 2 barriers go down, and Polar Coretex trying to make something early happen. I think they're almost more concerned about like swinging at each other though.
Yeah, right there, Dave Chaotic, the bell ringer, able to get the KO on the goalie at the perfect time. Pick up the first point here for Polar Coretex.
Oh yeah.
And then Chaotic's got the flip available. It will be 2-1 flips this point though, so we'll see what use they make of that. But we've already seen quite a bit of energy just get burnt in terms of having to dodge some things.
Oh yeah, for sure, and that's gonna continue definitely. Look at the damage coming out. Both Bebop and Bam nearly staggered. Well, Bebop was staggered. There we go. There's Bam. Just blood's flying everywhere. This is the second point, and there goes one.
And Bam almost getting taken off the board there as well, but it's the power play for Ballin Ballers despite losing their barriers. Doing a good job here though, buying a lot of time and just keeping the pressure up. Named Chaotic will come back online now. The Foxio taking quite a bit of damage from this X here early on the bull rush into X Maximus, and that's the KO. Polar Coretex right back in this A shot to the bottom. Dr. Bebop's got no abilities to catch that one. And it will be Polar Coretex starting off strong here on the 2-0 set point.
Yeah, and honestly, because this is gonna be because this has been such a bloodbath already, and because we can see like both of these teams' game plan seems to be almost screw the points, I just want you dead. I think that the draft is going to be like absolutely huge as like for the start off. So if Polar Coretex can get like this first set, that is going to do absolute wonders for their momentum.
And Bam already pretty hurt here. Dr. Bebop with a nice supernova does get some damage here onto the Fool, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. Bam trying to get the KO, is able to steal the orb, but the Fool with the death touch makes him pay for it, as they were both staggered in that back line. That's why Rasmus goalie's so scary, but Dr. Bebop, a nice teleport up into power chord, will make it a 2v2 here for a few seconds. Bam comes back online, 5 seconds of a power play for Ballin Ballers. But A just keeping the core up in their field. Core flip here from Named Chaotic. A back pass to A to bring down the barrier, and the Fool will keep the pressure on S. Both barriers down, but Bam getting taken out for it in return. A with the core, passing up a slime. Looking to bring this point, and it's the Fool with a pendulum swing, who's able to sneak it through Foxio and take the set. For Polar Coretex, looks like the MVP here will be A. And this draft could be potentially pretty important.
Yeah, I'm seeing some very scary stuff here. Prize fighter, like off rip, explosive interest, even 1-2 punch. Also, we saw it being absolutely horrendous last game.
That's huge.
Like, yep, just gonna do that again. And honestly, even stuff like Big Fish, Missile Propulsion would be scary. But yeah, everybody naturally just going into everybody except maybe Rasmus and even 10 then with the size just going into pain, more pain.
Yeah, this is kind of a good draft for both sides. You know, Chaotic still ended up getting some good size and a little bit of stagger, even though wasn't able to pick up the prize fighter. But you got explosive on Bam, which is just really good. Oh my gosh, there's a brawling in the backfield. Chaotic brings down Dr. Bebop, almost gets taken out himself. Fool managed to stay alive. The Fool with a death touch, looking to bring it back upfield, and it's A who gets credited with the points. But some serious brawling going on in Ballin Ballers' goal box there, and now Dr. Bebop losing that prize fighter stack is pretty big for Polar Coretex.
Yeah, they are swinging at each other, and you saw that how like the core nearly got past them. Fool had to like you said, like Fool had to death touch to bring that back because they were just so focused on like swinging at each other. Kind of forgot it for a moment, but fortunately that is what X is best at. X is all about getting stuck in and just beating the ever-loving crap out of everybody. So as long as they can do that, fine, but that doesn't mean that the core isn't going to do as it will.
Oh, nice read there from the Fool. Will place the death touch exactly where that shot was going. Gets a nice soaring angle to triple it, but that's A off the field. Bam, not looking too healthy either. Chaotic picks up a double. And now Alma's going to have a flip available here. A nice glitch pop from Lufoxio to keep it up, though. Dr. Bebop forcing the Fool to stay on defense. Now A back alive. Chaotic brings it down. Pass to the Blobber to the bottom side. A pass back up to Chaotic. The core flip to the top side. And Bam, not quite able to get there in time off the respawn. Polar Coretex continue their onslaught. Now on set point yet again.
Yeah, it's almost like, it's basically what I was kind of like worried about. Just the fact that like everybody is going so hard at each other that it's going to be hard for Ballin Ballers to kind of like shake back from like that first draft issue. They did manage to take down Chaotix, but they did get a barrier taken in return. That's equalized it very quickly. So yeah, it's just absolute carnage right now, but it does seem to be Polar Coretex getting the better of it.
And another KO here on Ballin Ballers, and now the Fool just becoming the forward here, letting A handle the midfield line, and with the Blobos set up, there's not a lot Vice and Imi can do about all that pressure right in their face. And now it's Polar Coretex up 2-0. It's been a sweep so far this game 3. We get to get another draft where A is the MVP. Some more big awakenings showing up here.
Oh yes, Deadeye, you know that's getting taken. Probably like, I wouldn't be surprised if Siege Machine gets taken by the Imi, Might of the Colossus, just all of this very good, very scary
down there.
Yeah, Spark just continuing just to beat you down and beat you down and beat you down until you cry uncle strategy. And if it's working, it's working.
Yeah, this is a weird draft because it's like creation stuff, and then literally 3 Sparks showed up. So Sparks are dead, by the way. There's only a couple like really big things there, mainly the Deadeye, which A did deny smartfully. I think if Dr. Bebop had gotten that, it could have been pretty bad. The Voxio, though, a really quick point here. 7 seconds in, the barrier's just falling instantly, and Ballin Ballers starting to set off decently strong. But yeah, having only 1 Spark on Chaotic and the Fool is not... It's not ideal. However, Lufoxio managing to pick up a second one is going to be pretty helpful, especially with that stagger.
Yeah, absolutely. Just being able to just have a little bit more resilience and maybe try to like blunt this absolute carnage that's coming out of Polar Coretex, even for like a couple more seconds. It may be the difference between victory and defeat, but then again, it may not, just because again, that Deadeye, that spark of strength even, and even more like just the cooldown and stuff for that Rasmus. So we'll have to see, but they do seem to be trying to make something happen with this, although quick 2v2, so hey.
And Brawler's getting traded there as they were slugging it out. Fool and A playing the 2v2 but keeping the pressure up. Core flips come out here from Lufoxio. Juno's really good in 2v2, and we've been seeing that kind of consistently through this match. Pass down to Chaotic here, but not able to grab the core. Just swinging away at Dr. Bebop, it looks like. We'll be able to get the core here, and with the X Maximus, gets the point and the goalie to tie it up now. Polar Coretex have gone absolutely nowhere since that last draft, and they are still dishing out the punishment.
Yeah, for sure. I will say that Ballin Ballers got a little bit closer at that point, but close only counts in a couple things and not quite in Omega Strikers.
Yeah, there's the Supernova coming out onto Named Chaotic, and will be BAM picking up the KO there. This one barrier does fall, but BAM taking quite a lot of damage themselves. Picks up one barrier here. Not quite enough power on the other side to get the KO. The Death Touch almost finds it, but not quite enough. And now that's both barriers gone. Polar Coretex a little bit distracted, trying to pick up that KO. Leave the door a bit open for some core control. They finally are able to find it. And with this power play, they should, or might be able to, pick up the points. A in the top side, drop the Blobos. That's the barrier gone. Dr. Bebop's going to get taken off just barely with a pendulum swing. The Foxio forced to defend here. But the pressure on, blinking up with the core flip into the bottom corner. There's the Zen ult. Not able to get a good shot. 2 seconds till Dr. Bebop is back, but Named Chaotic has the core dribbling to the bottom side. And Lufoxio can't get there in time. Matter of seconds there between possibly saving that.
I actually think I could have sworn I saw Lufoxio like try and go up. I think he tried to read it and just picked wrong. At least that's how it looked. That's how it looked to me. So it might have just been kind of like a wide 50-50, so to speak. But they're trying not to let that like fuss them too much. Meanwhile, it's pretty much business as usual for Polar Coretex.
Elpar's really low here. This could be an ace. But BAM back online just in time. Dr. Bebop almost getting taken off the field here. The core does float back. Polar Coretex's side of the field is opened up now. As BAM with the slice and dice looking for the shot to the middle. Is just able to find it through both of them. A and the Fool misread that timing just a little bit. Yeah. And it will be Ballin Ballers with a bit of a breath. They have tied it here on set point and the opportunity to extend this game. And we'll see if they're able to do it.
Yeah, I will say that if they do, I would not put aside the possibility for sincerely for a reverse sweep. Just the pain has been coming out on both sides. What they need, what Ballin Ballers need, is just some slight equalization, because both teams have been trading both teams have been trading blows really hard, and both teams have been getting these vicious KOs. So it's not like one is completely out damaging the other. Named Chaotic nearly about to fall and barely managing to save themselves. So yeah, this is a very critical moment for Ballin Ballers.
Named Chaotic and BAM have just been trying to kill each other for so long, and the Fool with the Death Touch finally gets the KO on the ladder, but Dr. Bebop up in the corner is able to beat the slime and force it through. We've seen Polar Coretex get a little bit distracted sometimes with these KOs, and finally it's coming back to bite them. As Ballin Ballers taking advantage of that critical situation and stealing that set away. I think with them coming back here, it still could be anyone's game at this point. This is not what you want to see as Polar Coretex. And now Ad Rush showing up here in the draft. Super Surge will go over to the IME. Ad Rush for the Fool. A Reverb picked up on BAM. Some much needed survivability for the Brawler. Looks like Named Chaotic's not going to have that same luxury. Will go for the Twin Drive here. Prime time on the Juno. And it'll just be aerials for Dr. Bebop.
Yeah, I definitely think, honestly, I feel like Polar Coretex got the better of that one. Just the Twin Drive scares me so much. The Ad Rush, very, very scary as well. Reverberation, nice, but we'll need to see if that actually holds out. Super Surge is good, though. Aerials, I think, is a little bit better than I'm honestly just an Aerials fan in general, so I'm just glad that picked up, and I hope it works out for him.
Yeah, the stagger from Reverb is going to help out BAM though a lot. BAM's been taking a lot of damage, so I think it's a pretty decent pickup for sure. But already, Ballin Ballers in this game, in this point, a little bit more than we've seen. They're actually able to pick up a KO there onto A with the flip, and it's one barrier to one barrier here. As this point goes on, getting around the back of the barrier here. The Fool trying to make the clear, but Dr. Bebop pushing up on the offense will be forced to blink back. Foxio setting it back in around the back. Fool still trying to find this clear angle. Meanwhile, Named Chaotic just wailing away on Dr. Bebop and able to pick up the KO there. onto the goalie. Bam not looking too healthy either. The flip getting popped here, and that's the second barrier gone. Power play available with a glitch pop from Lufoxio. Evens up the playing field. A core flip here brings it to the center. The Fool not quite able to get it back up. Has to use the flip to send it to the top corner. The slime coming out from A. Chaotic with the dribble. Looking for the bull rush. Able to find it right to the center. Perfect shot there. And Polar Coretex go first yet again.
That one was a lot hard. I feel like that one was even harder fought than average for this game, which is already very, very hard fought. So that says that, yeah, those awakenings that they got, just the stagger, the survivability, may have helped almost critically, but they're going to need to make that count. And right now, it is Polar Coretex that are trying to kind of like end this very quickly. Name Chaotic with the kill and easy goal. So yeah, they want to end this fast.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to have to drag this out any longer than they have to. Every point that they don't score is a point that Ballin Ballers can use to come back into this game. But Name Chaotic has had Dr. Bebop's number this entire match, and now it looks like the damage coming back the other way, though, is Name Chaotic getting blasted off the screen, but Bam also might get traded here, as we've seen so commonly through this game. Ballin Ballers able to pick up one barrier here. Got a lot of damage onto A as well, though. The glitch pop does knock him a little bit the wrong direction. And Name Chaotic back online, looking to hunt down Bam. Bebop trying to protect the forward, able to pick up an orb here. Pops the X Maximus, though, and just dumping out even more damage. But meanwhile, Lufoxio in the 1v2 brings down that second barrier. And Bam trying to push up into scoring position. Not trying to get hit with the hook, though. Name Chaotic opens up Ballin Baller's side of the field. Foxio with the flip available. Dr. Bebop taking a lot of damage, but still managing to stay alive. The death touch from the Fool brings it back in, and Name Chaotic gets the goalie KO. Core flip here from Lufoxio to try and buy some time. If it gets past this midfield line, it could all be over. Now Name Chaotic with the dribble. The glitch pop up from Lufoxio makes one save, but A with the shot to the top, and it is all over. Polar Coretex coming out on top in a pretty dominant Game 3, and they will take the series.
That was pretty much everything we expected. It was brutal, it was bloody, and it basically just came down to, honestly, after that first draft, I feel it started to like run away for a little bit. They did manage to come back for a little bit. They're Ballin Ballers. They tried to kind of like equal it up. They pushed, but at the end of the day, it was like only one can stand at the end of the day after all that blood on the floor. And for this, I mean, just look at the KOs. Absolutely monstrous.
11 there from Name Chaotic.